Hello and welcome to the Untold. Of course, this is where we have amazing people. We discuss their stories and their journeys. And Lujain, for today's episode, we have Maitham Abdal.
I'm excited to talk to him because he's a sculptor who creates things both digitally and traditionally with his hands, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, he's in a very unique position where he's the first sculptor we have here who, if you browse his, social media accounts, he's amazing. It's phenomenal, right? He's very talented. And the thing about sculpting, for me personally, it looks like a lot of hard work, right? There's a lot of thinking process to it. There's a lot of manual labor to it. So I'm really curious to talk to him and find out all the, details about this field.
As am I, especially knowing how much time and effort must go into all of these sculptures. I do think we're going to have a lot to talk about today. The way that he bridges the gap between traditional sculpting and digital will be something I think that most viewers and myself will find really fascinating. And with that, we're going to take a short break and get straight to the point.
And we are back with Maitham Abdal, and I want to first welcome you on Untold. But before we dive into everything, audiences can see what we have, a beautiful sculpture here. So talk us through it.
Thank you very much. This piece is called يبتسم محزون,
Okay.
which is when someone is sad, but he's facing people, he's keeping his sadness inside, and he's forced to smile. So sometimes people around you will smile, but they are struggling so hard inside, in pain and sadness. This is exactly what it expresses, like someone is shouting, crying, angry, and many feelings and emotions inside your heart, and you can't express it. You just smile sometimes. That's how painful it is.
That's so true, actually. A lot of people put a mask in public,
True.
but the reality of their emotions are unknown.
True.
And you can see that with the sculpture as well. Everywhere you turn, there's a different expression.
Yes.
It's very fluid.
Yes.
And I love that. I think it's a really beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
And I even saw your Instagram where you have all your sculptures. And mashallah, your work is really, really innovative and beautiful.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you actually, what led you to start sculpting? Where did it begin for you?
I always loved to play with clay when I was young, and especially in the kindergarten age. When they put clay to us, it was my moment, It's just a child playing. Growing up, started to focus on painting, illustrating. But I remember in high school, they used to teach us pottery. So when I finished the work that the teacher gave us, I started play with clay, and I shaped a nose. From that moment, the teacher came. I thought he would say, "What have you done?" But he was really happy and encouraged me. For me, it was easy, but he saw something. So he kept me in a different place and all the other students doing his usual work. And he told me and asked me to focus on this. Going through, I kept working on painting. But when I started to explore each medium of art, I get lost. And I couldn't decide where to go. It wasn't fun anymore. I know it's inside, but there's no real passion to a specific point. So I always tell the story because it's the real door for us to choose.
Yeah.
I asked my uncle Farid Abdal, he's an artist and architecture.
MashaAllah.
He said, search deep in your heart, look into your heart. And that's the way I picked sculpting. It's weird because usually we try to decide things through our mind, our logic. But for art, it's purely your heart. This is why, or this is the way I picked sculpting and kept going through maybe 13 years now.
MashaAllah.
Wow, mashallah. I love that actually.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
actually, the way that you said that you did the nose and you thought it was easy.
Yeah.
In fact, facial features are some of the hardest things for people to do properly in art. So the fact that you did it so naturally, I think that's partly why your teacher saw you and was like, this guy has talent, I'm going to nurture it, I'm going to help him go on the right path. And I do love that you started from a young age and it was something that influenced your life and you tried different mediums, but you found that sculpting was you. It's how you express yourself.
True.
What do you think, Abdullah?
Yeah, and honestly, one of the most, heartwarming elements of that story is the impact that your teacher had. I think for a lot of people, especially young, students, they don't realize how much impactful these teachers can be on their lives and on their career paths. Like, I've shared before, I'm in the same kind of position because of a certain teacher. And, it's just amazing gratitude to teachers. And I do want to go back to your, profession in sculpting, because you've also got into digital kind of sculpting.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, how do those two worlds mingle together, and how do those worlds, kind of mix and match?
Well, I always like to do two things in art. The pop culture, manga, anime, comics, video games character. And the other side is the fine art side, which is like academic studies, portraits, art, fine art. I started working on my favorite characters in the beginning for sculptures. I used to draw realistically and other styles. But I started with a character in the 80s and 90s called Jungar.
I don't know them.
Yeah. In Japanese, they call it Astro Ganga.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my friends said, it's hard to do. Then I tried it and it was good experience. I liked it. Then I moved on slowly to exploring the medium. I reached the point where I learned it's hard and it's time consuming, and it took a lot of physical effort from you, especially when you are working on collectibles like small sizes. Sometimes you forget that you are in a wrong position and you get a few pain. And at that time, I was starting to think, why wouldn't I try digital sculpting, especially that the collectibles marking were moving toward the digital and 3D printing. Most of the artists who are sculpting by hand are learning and moving toward the market requirements. So I tried it and I loved it because it gives you fast way to produce your work, your ideas. I mixed both fine art style and digital sculpting, pop culture's characters and anime, comics, video games in digital also. So I mixed both my interest and it worked fine. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And you're right, by the way, because I've seen online now a lot of digital sculpting, especially for things involving anime or manga. It's extremely popular now, especially since anime has also become more popular these days.
Yes.
So you're seeing a lot of very detailed things from all different, stories and genres digitally. But would you say that traditional sculpting is harder than digital sculpting? Do you have a preference between the two?
Yeah. There is difficulty in traditional sculpting because it's you're using your full body doing the work. You're experiencing like in digital you can always hit undo, Control Z.
True.
Control Z.
But in traditional sculpting, there is no Control Z. You can't undo things, and you have to fix it and keep going. There is lots of hard effort you put in traditional sculpting compared to digital. You are in front of a tablet and a PC and a program. You just work. Yeah, there is some preferences between them. when you work traditionally, especially in clay, you smell the clay. It's the earth clay. It's natural. You touch the water inside. You deal with touching things, where in digital you are just working with a screen. So there is that feeling where you can sense things differently than the digital.
Yeah. And speaking for as someone who doesn't know a lot about digital sculpting, like what is the process like? Do you make the portrait and then is it 3D printing? Is that a, or what is, like, talk us through the process.
It depends. Digital sculpting for many things.
Oh.
For like movies, special effects and things like this. For video games, you make characters, environments, many things for video games. And for collectibles, which is my side of interest, is I usually sculpt and finish the product, then go for 3D printing and painting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I know from talking to, previous artists, a lot of them actually hate digital, kind of aspect, not because any reason, but because, like you said, there's always Control Z button.
Yeah.
So they say we can be spending weeks just, going back, forth. So they like traditional ways because what you do, that's the final representation. So do you find yourself, outside of what is difficult, what is not, do you find yourself going to our traditional or digital in terms of, where you are with time requirements and, with the space itself?
It depends what's the order for it. When I work for like galleries and fine art pieces, I think it's always preferable to work traditionally.
Yeah.
But when you are working commercially, like for big sculptures, for commercially, actually, it's always easygoing to work digital or traditionally. Time consuming, as I said before, it's always digital. For that issue where you can always Control Z and some people get frustrated through it, I think with experience people will go through it easily. It's a blessing actually, because when you make big mistakes, it takes a lot of time to fix it in traditional. But in digital, you can like do something, you're not sure, save it, try another method, save it, and try to compare and go on and go on. So it depends for what you are working.
Was there any project you found particularly challenging or very hard?
Oh, a lot.
A lot? It makes sense, especially with traditional.
Yeah. It's good to have challenges, by the way, because it drives you and lets you learn a lot through it, think a lot. It keeps the fire in you going on, and the curiosity is going high inside you. This is why challenge is always good. But you have to learn in the beginning. You don't have to go for extreme challenges and you get depressed. You're not, like, you can't decide how to solve this thing. And no, just get your thing, get the knowledge, the experience, then go through it.
Yeah. I don't think the audience can see it from that angle, but I do love how we are going to go on a very quick break, but I want to highlight to the audience that you've talking about how your pieces represent two sides of you, right? You have the fine pieces and then you have the pop culture. We have in the corner is the Joker, and we have here, I'd imagine, it's the fine, elevated kind of artwork. So I do love how you brought your two sides to the show today. So I do want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
But we are going to go on a very quick break. And we are back with Maitham Abdal, and I want to first ask you about something I think, for me personally, outside the whole interview, something I'm very curious about, because I know sculpting takes a lot of time. It takes, even before you go on the first artwork, there's a lot of thinking process behind it. There's a lot of drawing. There's a lot of, you know, right and wrong. So how do you manage, you know, how do you have the patience for all of this?
Well, there is two things for me to go through this pain. Okay.
Pain.
First, I should have feeling and emotion and loving for the thing I'm going to do, because this is what makes you have patience and keep going through this hard work and all the process. Because when you finish a sculpture in the clay process, it's not done. You have to make the mold, you have to do the casting and all this annoying process you have to do to make it live, because the clay is easy to break, you know. So you have to keep it, you have to do the molding and all the process and cast it with a material that lasts. Like here I'm using resin, which is a very good material for displaying art. And you can go for metallic materials like bronze, aluminum, and the other things. Two, which is here is the problem usually, it should has good money, because I can't work for something I hate with bad money, you know? So there should be a price that drives you for taking orders or working on something. It really benefits your time and effort and experience.
That makes a lot of sense, because it sucks to do something that you don't like, especially if it takes many hours and it requires so much skill to do something like this.
True.
So you wouldn't be able to do it if you didn't have the passion for it or the love. And speaking of that, actually, your style has obviously developed over time. In today's world, everything moves so fast, especially in the digital space. So how do you keep your own style going? Has it evolved from when you started? Could you talk us through the process a bit?
Yes, definitely. In the first years, I was just try to learn the medium. I used to draw and paint, and I was good at it, but it's a new thing to me, a new material, new medium, tools, and you know, when you are working on a sculpture, you are working in all the angles around it, not one angle. Like for artists, it's only one side, two sides. So here I'm learning a lot. Later on, it's definitely when you are working hard and spending lots and lots of time training, facing challenges, and taking looking at and observing artists who are really ahead, you learn a lot. Later on, when you have all the experiences and you level up gradually, you see yourself having a style after lots of experiences. Something comes from inside. Maybe it takes some from here, some from here, some from here. You don't know where you are taking from, but there is a mix. It will happen just like it will be your own touch, your own taste, and the way you go for the form of the shapes and the shapes of the sculptures.
Yeah. And speaking about the sculptures, and I'm sure the audience can see how beautiful they are, would you consider yourself to have finally found your style, or are you still a student of the game, right? You're still in that learning process, even after what I imagine a lot of people can call you a professional in this kind of, you know, field.
We will always learn. We will always try new things. If you see yourself, you're just reached the way you want, you will feel that you are done. You will not give anything new. But in the same time, you have to admire the way you, or admire the road you took and where you have reached. So you have to know who you are, and you have to have to be humble, to know there are a lot to learn. For me, I know I have reached a good place, alhamdulillah. to trust myself, to take orders, to take challenges. I can say I'm a sculptor, yeah, but there is always be lessons to take and new things to try.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
And something I've thought about is that sculptures and art in general tend to outlive the artist. Does that sense of legacy or knowing that your art is going to be there maybe for maybe hundreds of years, does that affect how you do your work? Because for instance, a lot of sculptures will last hundreds of years. They're in museums still to this day. So does that affect how you work?
It's just expressing myself in the medium and things I love to do, so I do it. I think all the old masters never thought of it, you know, because especially let's talk about Van Gogh.
Yeah.
He never sell anything, only one piece in a very low price, and he died very sad. Maybe he was struggling mentally, but no one cared about his art, and I don't think he ever thought about it. But now, after almost more than 100 years ago, we know Van Gogh very well, his story, his legacy, his paintings. So when you do art, I think you have to do it from your heart. Just express yourself. Any art, whether it's fine art, music, poetry, whatever art you are working on. For me, it's just doing something I love.
Yeah, for the love of the game.
Yeah.
This also reminds me of Banksy, because I know Banksy, I think even for now, a lot of his artworks, if they were ruined or something happened to them, they have a self-destruct kind of, you know, command. And so, yeah, there's a lot of nuance, and a lot of artists love the art itself. And you were talking about Van Gogh. For a lot of artists at the time, art wasn't, you know, they were being commissioned to make a painting, but it wasn't something they can live off of. So they were all the greats that we know, all did it for the love. Yeah. And
maybe not always, because sometimes it's an order.
Yeah.
You have to do it or
that's commissioned.
You're done. Yeah. Especially in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the Dark Ages did give us a lot of the great arts. Yeah.
True.
And I want to ask you something about, you know, the mix and match between the digital and the, you know, the traditional world, because digital world is fast and moving rapidly. You know, as a artist in a digital world, do you feel that pressure that, oh, I have a deadline, I gotta make a new sculpture by next week, I gotta release a post, I gotta do this and gotta do that? Like, are you under that kind of pressure?
Yes.
Oh, that was a fast yes.
Yes. It's always, it's our enemy, the deadlines. You know, art is not logic. It's completely different. If you give an engineer or I don't know, something to solve, he will use the rules and something plus something and multiply something, will give you the answer and it's done. It's not like this in art. It's emotions, it's feelings. Even if it's something like stable, like characters, well known, and you have to put something from you inside, or it will be just, good. No, you can't accept good. It has to be perfect. It has to have a feeling inside. That's why we get involved in good music, good art, good poetry, because it touches something inside us. And this is something an artist should put in his work. And it's not logic. It's a mix and mostly feelings, which is the hard part. You can't control it with a deadline behind you.
Yeah.
But you have to be also professional. So you have to make a balance.
I think trying to find that balance is quite difficult.
Yes.
The creative process is not something, as you said, that can be put in a box. Sometimes it hits, sometimes you won't have an idea for ages.
Yeah.
So working on that, has there ever been a moment where you created a piece, but it didn't turn out how you wanted, but you had a deadline, so you had to turn it in? How did that affect you, and what did you learn from it?
I don't usually take orders.
Okay.
And this is something I decided because of that hard struggle with deadlines.
Makes sense.
And it ruined the touch you put in your art. It ruins your days. Okay, so that's why I don't usually take orders and deadlines a lot. Sometimes I do, but you have to keep it balanced. Sometimes, yeah, it doesn't go the way you want, and you have to accept it, get sad a little bit, and just observe and see what went wrong, and try to solve it and learn from it, because sometimes it's a chance to get better. And sometimes it doesn't go the way you want, but it's a chance for the work to get better and a lot better. And it happens a lot. I was working on a character for a scale of 1 of 6, like 6 of a human being. It's a full body character for a height of 30 centimeters.
Okay.
So everything is small, everything is challenging. I was done with the sculpting process and clay and everything, so I have to make the mold. For a mold we use silicone rubber. It's liquid, then it gets cured and rubbery like the silicone used to be. When I opened the silicone, it wasn't cured,
Oh no.
and most of the work was destroyed.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it happens. So I have to fix it. All the hard work I put was ruined. I have to resculpt lots of things, redetail lots of things. But you know, I learned so many things that made the sculpture a lot better. And it was really like Bob Ross usually say, a little happy accident.
I like that.
Yeah. And sometimes no, the full sculpture will be destroyed, and it happens to me before. But you learn the lesson, that at least.
A lot of art is experience.
Yeah.
Are there any tips you would give to people who might be starting out in sculpting so that they don't get depressed about things not going their way?
They will have to know that they will get depressed.
It's just part of the job.
Yeah. You know, there is one thing that usually ruin everything, which is fear.
True, or doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are afraid to try, you are afraid to sometimes learn the thing. You are afraid of failing you don't do anything, you just freeze. You don't take it to the next level, to the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's always because of fear. Sometimes it's knowledge. You lack knowledge and experience, but usually it's fear.
It's fear.
They have to be patient. They have to be very patient. They have to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
And they have to have the knowledge of the medium, if they are working on a figurative characters or a human being, they have to learn the proportions of the human figure and all the details of the anatomy and things, because knowledge will help you move fast and create masterpieces.
Yeah. And I think that's very well put and well said, Maitham, because for the viewers who have a lot of doubts, you know, you basically boil it down, you know, conquer your fears and basically know every step you take. We have ran out of time, so I do want to thank you for joining us on today's episode of The Untold.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored. And thank you for giving me the time to just set some lights on my experience.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to have you, and thank you for the lovely advice as well. I loved seeing how passionate you were about the subject. And thank you for bringing one of your pieces. It was great to see it in real life.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're going on a short break. Stay tuned.
That's a wrap for today's artwork that's called Untold. You know, another beautiful episode. I was really, you know, I was honestly so taking by Maitham's approach to art in that it was very grounded, right? He wasn't sugarcoating the hard work that takes to get into this kind of field.
I also loved hearing how he worked from passion, and everything he did is because he loved to do it.
Yeah.
He even forced himself to not take commissions and other things because it would ruin the artistic approach for him, which is something I think a lot of creatives suffer with. So to see someone who truly just values their art and their passion, I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, one of the key points in the interview, he mentioned, transferring emotions into the art, right? He talked about how all the pieces he make, even those that are related to pop culture, comic books, action figures, they all have something from him, right? They all have a feeling from him. And I thought that was very beautifully well said by him. So, amazing.
I agree. And I do love that he's using pop culture to be more relevant to today's world. And it's something that he also is interested in. Because traditional sculpting is not something a lot of people see nowadays, I think.
Right.
The fact that he does both and bridges them together, I thought that was amazing. And I love the advice that he gave to younger people or people at any age who are starting out to just go for their goals and passions.
Yeah, very well said, Lujain. Thank you for that. And thank you, dear viewers, for sitting with us. But that's the end of the Untold. And until next one, goodbye for now.
Goodbye.